Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blueprint Podcast and our episode series, So, What's Next? This is a podcast where we keep it real and talk about what happens after high school. I'm Layla.
I'm Justin. In our last podcast, we talked about the stresses of life after high school, right? But today we're going to be talking about money, a painfully related topic.
And today's episode is actually called the money episode. Budgeting, jobs, and broke life reality. Because honestly, once you hit 17 and 18, life starts to become really expensive. And no one really warned us about it.
I'm expensive regardless.
When you're 17, you think the only bills you got to pay for is Netflix and Hulu.
Nope. It's a lot more.
Alright, so let's start with this. If you're broke, you're not alone. I am too. He is too. And so is he.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell them our business.
It's not, and it's not just us.
Like, we are all out here budgeting, surviving off gas station snacks and free Wi-Fi. But that's not me.
You guys have like gas station?
No, bro, the gas station snacks.
Deli.
Deli.
Okay, continue, Justin. Oh, and you ever walk into Target for like $5, expect to buy something, you just walk out with depression.
I'm saying that's like they walk into the mall expecting the boss to just leave with all team.
Yeah, no money for anything.
Nah, it looks like you just came out the end and you did.
Yeah.
But actually, no one warned us about how expensive our freedom is. You finally get some independence and bam, gas, food, clothes, bills, outings, emergencies, everything is just expensive.
And if you're
Bless you.
Thank you. And if you're heading to college or even just moving out soon, multiply all that by 10. Laundry money. Your parents need more laundry. Transportation, books, and don't even get me started on unexpected expenses. Like, why did I pay $80 for a parking pass I barely use?
Pay $80 for your pass?
Huh?
Yeah.
Listen.
There's examples.
It's me in the process.
And we haven't even talked about subscriptions. $10 here for Spotify, $6 there for Netflix, and it adds up fast. And suddenly you're broke and bored. Me personally, I'm not spending my money on those subscriptions, but there's other subscriptions that really do ruin mine.
Also, $6 for Netflix?
They made it 10 minutes.
It's 10.
Prices are getting higher than we
It used to be 6.
It used to be 6. I did not. See, that's how real it is. I did not know that. Alright, so let's get into
Hustle, bro.
the hustle. This is Justin's favorite part. Part-time jobs and who's working right now.
Yeah.
Me, I'm at a retail spot on weekends. I like the people, but it's exhausting. I'm balancing with my homework, college applications, and sometimes I just crash. I don't know what to think. I'm thinking about multiple things at once.
Me, I was doing food delivery actually for a while, but it was decent money. But I had to quit during midterms because I couldn't balance studying and continually driving and dropping off deliveries. It was too hard.
Yeah, that's reality. I mean, we all want money, but working on school, it also comes at the cost of your mental health or your grades. It's one or the other.
Something's gonna get lost.
Something has to give.
You sleep. And then there's the pressure. You see some people stacking checks, stacking their money, and think, am I slacking? Am I not hustling enough? But everyone's situation is different. Some people are given to it. Some people have to work harder to get it.
And this brings us to our next segment, which is budgeting. I used to think budgets for for old people. Every time when I was young, people would be like, save your birthday money, save this, save that.
I'm 2 years old. I wanted
to buy that toy,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. But now that I'm older, it turns out that therefore not for anyone who wants to stop stressing about money. Like if you want to stop stressing about money, start saving. Having some money in an offshore account that you can use. Well, not offshore.
Like a saving.
Saving account.
Money that you don't have.
Having money in a savings account is really good for you because now you don't have to worry if you spend all your checks. Well, not really. You don't want to spend all your checks. You want to save your check too. But now you have money saved up somewhere else for some goal.
I mean, once I started tracking how much I was spending, I realized I'm not that broke. I was just spending all.
Yeah.
Like $7 for chopped cheese, it kind of adds up. But those winds up to feel better, and when I really just needed to relax on what I was spending.
I use the 50-30-20 rule. It's not perfect, but it helps. 50% is for needs, 30% is for wants, and 20% is for savings. Even if I make 100 that week, it keeps me focused. I'm seeing, say if I get $200, right? 100 of that is going into what I really need, right? Like I'm gonna save home $60 of that is into clothes I want to buy or to save, and then 20% is money I put in my savings account that I don't touch at all. I just put my savings back up.
And even while you do that, I think a smart idea would be to like write it down. Like I have a spend log at the end of each week, and it's just pen and paper. I don't use an app. Sometimes I laugh, like looking at how much I save, and then sometimes I cry because I save nothing. I save nothing.
Or you save all of it and you can't spend
I
it.
can't spend it.
You know what's crazy about it? When you're a teenager, you start thinking that $2,000 is really a lot. You start thinking that $2,000 is like a lot of money. Once you start to grow up, it's like
2000, like
2000.
2000
it's
in today's,
fun.
it's useful in today's world. That lasts you like 2 weeks, maybe a month.
What are you spending?
Depends on
Like depending on your lifestyle.
Yeah, depending on your lifestyle. It really depends.
if you like rent, pool,
I don't know why I said 2 weeks. That's ridiculous.
I feel like it all depends on.
Yeah, I feel like
As a 17-year-old.
as a 17-year-old, 2000, like if you budget it right, it can last you like
One of my friends stacked 1,000, he probably stacked to like 10,000. I feel like a life goal is like for everyone is like you stack your first 1,000, and after that 5,000 or 3,000, 5,000, and you start stacking to 10,000.
Also, I do want to tell you, don't sleep on your money. Like when you use like physical cash, it's real and it's way harder to overspend. But also, it's because you can feel that money leaving your hand. Like the pain of it of you giving it to somebody else.
You start moving like Mr. Crab.
I don't want to give my money away. I really don't. But,
Let's talk about stretching. What do you have to do? I'm not talking about physical stretching. I'm talking about budgeting.
Yeah.
What are your go-to money hacks?
Me, I pack food. It's not, the cutest thing or whatever, bring your own snacks, save, but it really does save me a lot of money. And like, I have student discounts. So I use my school ID, like at the grocery store, movies, online, and like I actually get some discounts that help me save a decent amount of money.
Speaking of that, remember when we all went to Oakwood and we got that we were able to get Shake Shack like at a limited price for food?
Yeah.
Because of our students.
I mean, I started like going to like less designer or like started spending less on like expensive clothes. If it looks good, it looks good. I mean, quality is a thing, but
Some people think just because it's expensive, it's good.
that's
Nah.
it's not. And sometimes it's cheap. It's cheaper, and it's more unique to my personality. It's honestly more fun than just going out. And I find something like actually like really cool. So
And learn to say no. Tell your mind no. You don't have to buy Chipotle. You don't have to buy McDonald's. You don't have to buy Adobe.
what?
you
Yeah,
talking-
why
you
you
talking
think
to
I'm
yourself or
not kidding? You don't have to buy those.
I think so. It sucks, but sometimes we have to skip outings or split meals to stay within budget. Real friends will understand. That's why I'm telling you that McDonald's app where you can get the points, it really does love.
Okay. But still, there's also things you should look out for, like free events. There's usually stuff happening for free in your area. So like if you're like, I can't do anything, I have no money, there's nothing fun to do. Yes, there is. There's probably some, open mic event if you're into that, library events, Canvas things. You just gotta look online and it will just pop up for you.
Or TikTok.
Exactly.
Alright, next up. What is a money mistake that haunts you to this day?
Okay. I'm not even gonna lie. I know I'll take it. I spent my first whole paycheck on clothes and didn't leave anything. I didn't leave any money left. I didn't savings, none of that. I had to ask my mom for money 2 days later. Like, that was mad embarrassing. I came to school. I was dressed up. And I asked for $1. Like, you got a doctor. You asked for $1. I heard my cry.
Exactly.
And especially since we West Indian, they know you got a paycheck. Be like, I'm telling you. What's
Your auntie?
Your auntie, your mom, your dad. They be like, what?
For me, I spent a refund check on a PS5, like all of it, and I just like spent it on the PS5, bought the PS5, games for the PS5, all that. And then 2 months later, all I had to eat was ramen noodles. Just ramen noodles and water.
I have a question. Where did you spend to get that refund?
I got it from, past savings, like on things I bought before that I didn't want anymore. I always keep receipts.
Oh.
We've all been there. I'm not sharing my experience. Y'all have fun with that.
No.
What matters is that we learn. Justin is a testament. Side hustles can help you.
Art. Middle school.
I mean, there's selling art, there's barbering, tutoring, doing nails, hair, editing. Just get photography. Get creative.
But don't let hustle culture burn you out. You're not a machine. Stop saying that. You're not a machine. You're a person, you're a human.
But there's a part that nobody talks about, and that's that being broke can feel shameful. As someone who's constantly broke, it's a little close to home, but you're always feeling behind or falling because you see people, they're buying things with their money, and it's just like, am I ever gonna have that money? Am I ever gonna save enough? Do I have to continue saving to get the things people can buy in one day? Is this my life forever?
I mean, it's not shameful, but it's not shameful. It's just real life. I mean, most people around you, they don't start rich. They learn, they fail, and they grew.
So ask questions, watch YouTube videos, find financial TikToks. Like on my For You page, I've been seeing a lot of TikTok people TikToks talking about hustling and budgeting and saving your money. And I'm not gonna lie, you know how TikTok you save for like the first 5 seconds you see? I really be watching those videos and helping learn a lot. Talk to a trusted adult such as your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, or any adult in your life that you see guidance from.
I mean, who knows? Maybe that money you got from your grandmother 5 years ago, they actually put it away somewhere. They didn't spend it.
Maybe when they said, give me your birthday money, I'll hold on to it.
They actually hold on to it.
Maybe. And they'll take care of it though.
Like a 30-70%.
Yeah.
More like a 90-10. But
95.
But another thing that you have to remember is don't compare yourself like your day one to someone's year 5. Your day one is not going to look as good as someone's year 5. People have been on a journey. People have been where you are. So when you see yourself in that position, just remember that you have to be consistent in the things that you have done and things you are doing to make sure that you are on the right path to being, reaching that potential that you want to reach.
There you go.
That you know you can reach. I mean, if you're out there trying to make your last 10 stretch, I see you personally, but it gets tougher, but you You can also do that.
Stop spending on food. You got food going at the crib. Money doesn't define your worth, but how you manage it can change your life, even if you're starting small.
That's so true. But then again, you have to remember, it all comes down to how you budget, the things you do to make sure that you remember to budget and how you're saving. But all in all, thank you guys for watching us with this Solo Snacks series and episode. Next time we're talking about friendships after high school and how they change and where, some may stay, some may go. It's just life.
Before we end, remember the 50, 30, and 20 rule.
Right.
50 for needs, or 50 for seniors.
50%.
30 for your wants, 20 for needs. No, 30
Okay, so that idea?
30 for your needs and 20 for your wants.
Okay, let's go
I
back
think
to
we're just gonna go with
the original idea.
Yeah,
50, 50,
50 for needs,
30 for your wants, and 20 for your savings.
Alright. See you guys next time, and please follow us on socials at the Blueprint Podcast, and we'll
TikTok soon.
TikTok soon. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.